All right. I think I am live in both places. However, let me make sure my screen is clean over here because it's a little fuzzy. I don't like that. Um, okay, so I'm live on Facebook, live on YouTube because I'm trying to get better at putting stuff out there. Hey, y'all, it is Pimp Your PR Wednesday. Let me know. Coach Tawana, good to see you, sunshine. Let me know if audio and video is good so we can make sure that we are ready to rock. Let me make sure. Somebody tell me something. Coach Tawana, tell me something. You can hear audio and video. Hey, Christian. You can hear audio and video. Well, not hear audio and video, but you can see video and hear audio. We good? Let me make sure. Somebody say something to me. Facebook Live. You're good. All right. So this is Pimp Your PR Wednesday. I am here every week dishing media tips. I am your host, I guess, the chief noisemaker of Media Mavericks Academy, and my name is TJ Mercer. Miss Mildred, I see you're joining me tonight. You gonna dime yourself out? But I am known as the beast in the media streets because I spent 20 years working on some of the biggest shows on television, but now I actually teach authors, experts, coaches, and entrepreneurs how to book themselves in the media like ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, CW, and a whole bunch of more. And then I teach them how to rock the interview. And I'm a beast at it because I suck at a lot of things, but media ain't one. So let's get rocking on what we're talking about tonight. So somebody here that's actually on Facebook Live was attending a webinar that I taught last night. It was the first webinar of 2019 that I did for Black Speakers Rock, and had an absolute blast, total blast. And one young lady, who I'm not going to say her name, told me that in her lane of genius, she had spent 20 years doing what she does, corporate trainings and all of this stuff. And so her question was, did I believe that she was ready for media? I'm like, 20 years and you're asking me, are you ready for media? Like, seriously? 20 years. You've been doing this and how much more ready do you need to be? You know, but I understood and I nailed it. And if she gonna dime herself out because she's here, I nailed it because I knew what she really wasn't asking. Either she wasn't able to articulate it, or she was afraid. And so I dimed myself out because I've been there. I've totally been there. So when the topic of today is, will the media see you as an expert? The answer to that question is yes, but you have to see yourself as the expert first. Okay, so let me unpack that. Because here's what I knew she was not saying. And she still hadn't dimed herself out that she's the one I'm talking about. But okay, we're going to let you hide. What I recall is the same thing that I felt when I was putting myself out there. Before I became the chief noisemaker of Media Mavericks, I actually was developing a brand where I was doing reality TV coaching, where I'd written my second book, which is So You Want to Be on a Reality Show, Insider Tips to Make the Cut. And I was dishing tips on how to do that, as well as how to create and sell your own reality show. And I was at a conference or at a training. Mildred, she says it's me, y'all. She told herself out. And whoever's watching me on YouTube, thank you. Hello. She dimed herself out. And so had attended this conference and this training by my coach at the time, a man named Steve Harrison. And he could tell, it was a room full of people, and he could tell what my issue was, which is how, hey, Mike, welcome. which is how I recognize Mildred's issue. Since she's dimed herself out, she was the one. I knew immediately what Mildred was struggling with, and when I said it, there were several people in the chat that was like, yeah, that's me. We don't want to consider ourselves experts. We're waiting on someone to come through and deem us worthy of expert status. Now, Mildred is walking around with 20 years of expertise under her collar, and she still was hesitant to put her that expert status, that expert title behind her name. So, back to what I ended up experiencing. And please share this. If you think there's someone who really needs to be on here and needs to hear this, hit that share button for me. So he stands me up, my coach Steve, stands me up. And at the time, I think I was 15 years, 16 years of being in Hollywood. And I had let me tell you, so I had The Bachelor on my resume. I had My Cat from Hell. I had R&B Divas, LA Hair. I had Bar Rescue. I've forgotten. I had Clean House. I have forgotten half of my creds. But that was all behind me, as power that, okay, I know reality TV. I had worked in pretty much every single genre of reality TV, whether it was docuseries, which is what we call when it's the R&B divas, the housewives, we call that docuseries, or self-contained, where it's a competition, it's a show that each episode it resolves at the end of each episode. So something like My Cat from Hell, Competition, that was The Bachelor. So I had pretty much touched every single genre of reality TV, which is how I could write the book. Plus, not to mention, these are my friends. These are not just my colleagues. These are my friends. And I had even tapped into them to write this particular book. But I still was unwilling to put myself out there and someone just say, well, TJ Mercer, she's a reality TV expert. Oh, no. That's not me. That's not me. I just have worked in this genre for a lot. Who is that? Am I talking to somebody? And I was just like, oh, no. And so the way Steve so expertly did this, it broke it all the way down. So he says, Teach, so you've been in television 15 years. You've worked on all of these top shows. So do you think that you could help Adam? I can't remember the name he used, so just go with my story. Do you think you could help Adam in Iowa who wants to be on Survivor? Can you tell them, can you tell Adam some tips and some secrets on how to increase his odds of landing on Survivor? And I was like, well, duh. Yeah, one of my best friends worked on Survivor for multi-seasons. Not only I can tell him, but I know how to reach. I know how to reach the person who can give us even more insight. So, and then he goes, well, how about, do you think you could help Wanda, who wants to be on The Bachelor? I have no idea why I just gave my mama's name, but just stick with me. And so I was like, if she wants to be on The Bachelor, and I was just like, well, yeah, I worked on The Bachelor, and I still have friends on The Bachelor, and I'm still not seeing where he's headed with this. Still not seeing. I mean, maybe y'all are faster than I am, but sometimes I can be slow. So I'm still not really following where he's going with this. And he goes, well, do you think that in Adam and Wanda's mind, knowing your expertise, knowing you are already where they're trying to get to, do you think that in their mind, not anybody else's mind, but in their mind, you are the expert to them? It hit me. Like, oh, I see what you're saying. I'm trying to think of the world-renowned expert, and the fact of the matter is, I need to be the expert to the people I'm called to serve, the people who need what I have to offer. And so the wheels are turning by this point, but he could still see I ain't completely sold. You know, it's still something about someone else validating you or somebody else putting their stamp of approval on you. Maybe I'm just talking to me. Maybe I'm not talking to any of you guys. Maybe I'm not talking to YouTube. Maybe I'm not talking to the people on my Facebook Live. I'm just talking to me. So he then goes, TJ, I, Steve Harrison, now deem you, TJ Mercer, the reality TV expert, because that's what you seem to be waiting on. Ah, ding, 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 ding. It clicks. This time I'm waiting for somebody else to consider me the expert when my street cred already made me the expert. At least to the people that I'm called to serve. I was so focused on being the expert for everybody, as opposed to just the people who I have more knowledge than they do. I have more success in this area than they have. So when I go back to the beginning of asking the question, will the media see you as an expert? Not until you see yourself as the expert. Because once you own that thing, you show up way differently. When I walk in into a room and I announce I am the chief noisemaker of Media Mavericks Academy and I am a beast in the media streets, then there is a thing that goes on of people embracing, because I believe it. Not only do I believe it, but I got the street cred to prove I get results in this area. So Mildred is walking around with street cred and results in this area, and she's still going to come to me and ask me, is she media ready? Mildred, you're in the chat still, maybe. Tell them, did it click for you? Has this clicked for you? Any of you, has this clicked that yes, you are indeed ready to show us what you got? To show us that you're called to serve us. So that even goes down to even those of you who are just starting out on this journey where you may be trying to package, something, to present to the people, you're served, like you got a coaching program or something. Listen, you don't have to, and Coach Tawana, if she's still here, Coach Tawana is an original Maverick. She was in that very first class that I taught. I was only 1 week ahead of them. I would teach the class, go build the next module. Teach the class, go build the next module. Because the thing is, I had to be in action. I had to actually be moving forward to make sure that I have some data. I can't really pivot if I'm not in movement. I can't really figure out what's wrong unless I'm in movement. So when you're starting out, you've got to still be in motion. Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. You need something to build the data off of. For the longest, I would not launch Media Mavericks. I would not launch it until I felt like I had every T crossed, every I dotted. And I kept doing this dance. Maddie says, that's an aha right there. What I say, Maddie? I don't even know what I said. What I say? But I kept doing this dance of, I got to figure out everything. I got to think of everything that could possibly go wrong. I have to have a solution for everything that's going to go wrong. I have to have a plan for everything that's going to go wrong. And the fact of the matter is, all I needed to do was get in action. Media Mavericks is a beast program now because I actually took action and built it. I knew that I had booked myself. I had worked behind the camera for 20 plus years, and then I booked myself. I knew that I had something to teach the people who was one step behind me at least. And what ended up happening is I kept procrastinating, and I kept, going back and forth and doing this dance. I haven't figured all of this out. I haven't and thought of every contingency. And finally, for those of you who don't know, I'm an unapologetic Christian. So what I'm going to tell you now, just chew the meat, spit out the bones. But it'll bless you if you just chew the meat, okay? So the Holy Spirit one day came to me and said, it's time to leap. Because this was after months of taking more classes, doing more stuff, trying to figure out, looking at it from every angle. And the Holy Spirit finally just said to me, it's time for you to leap. And one of the things, if you hang around me long enough, I pretty much always teach an acronym. So I'll say this and then we'll wrap it up. And if you got questions, start posting them in the chat so I can look at them. Okay. So if you got questions for me, you want me to answer, or topics you want me to cover, put them in the chat for me. So LEAP, the acronym, L, listen and get clarity from whatever your higher power is. Okay, for me, I call my higher power God, Holy Spirit, Jesus, So I had to listen and get clarity, listen and get my next steps, okay, of really, is this the move he wants me to make? Because I had no desire to be an entrepreneur. I was happy being a TV editor and being behind the scenes. I didn't have to have nobody see my face. I didn't need no followings, no nothing. I wasn't concerned about social media. I knew all of my 250 Facebook friends. So jumping out into this sea of entrepreneurship was the furthest thing from my mind, okay? So for me to jump and do this, I needed to get instructions because it wasn't in my plan, okay? So that's the L. E, I wasn't planning on going here, so I would have put it on the screen for y'all, but I wasn't planning on, maybe I could do it really quickly so you can see it. Let me see. So listen and get clarity. That's the L. Okay? That's the L of LEAP. E, expect fear. Expect fear. Anything that you do that's outside of your comfort zone. Thanks, Aunt Pringlam, for loving my glasses. Anything that you do that's outside of your comfort zone, it's going to be scary. And you are going to be concerned like I was. What did I say? Expect fear. You're going to be concerned like I was. And it's almost going to be paralyzing. That it's going to keep you from moving. However, if you expect the fear, you know it's coming, you know all of that's gonna impact you, then you have to, A, you got to activate your faith. So A is activate your faith. Because for me, I had to go back to every other time God came through for me. Every other time that he'd given me direction of what to do next. I had to stand on that. Because that was the only thing that was going to overcome the fear of, am I good enough? Do I know enough? Can I really get this done? Tiffany says, I'm always afraid, but I just learned how to do it scared. Yes, knees knocking, teeth chattering. My friend Denise says, scared is the new brave. Yes, you still have to actually activate that faith and do it anyway. And then the last letter is pursue. You take a running jump across that cliff, hold your arms up, because you have listened and gotten clarity. You have expected the fear. You've countered that by activating your faith. The next thing you have to do is just pursue it and be in action. That is it. Latanya says, TJ, get out of my business. That it. Latanya, did you inbox me like you were supposed to? That is how you then really get the media to see you as an expert. You got to believe it yourself first. You got to own your own expert status, because truth be told, nobody is coming through to really go, Latanya, I deem you the expert. Maddie, I deem you an expert. Nobody is coming through, Tiffany, really, and saying, Tiffany, I deem you the expert. Christian, I deem you the expert. You have to own that. Winter, I deem you the expert. Whatever your lane of genius is, you have to believe it enough. You have to believe it enough, CJ, that you own your own expert status. Because the way you show up, whether it's on social media doing a Facebook Live, whether it's you speaking, whether it's you teaching a webinar, whether it's you doing an interview, wherever you show up, if you don't believe that in this area, you are the expert, in this area, I'm not talking about every other area, in this area, you are the expert, it's going to show, which is why my hashtag is, I suck at a lot of things, but media ain't one. That's why you would hashtag it. There's a lot of things I'm not good at. I'm not good at domestic chores. I'm not sometimes good at calling my friends back. I'm not good at necessarily actually coming out my own house. But the one thing I'm good at, the one thing I am a beast mode at is media. I own that. I own that expert status. All right, so that is Pimp Your PR for today. Do you have any questions before I call it a night? Latanya says, yes, ma'am, you should do. Okay, I got to look at, my inbox has been blowing up, so I got to look at that. I'm going to look at it once I decompress from this and do some other things, and I'm put that on my list. Maddie says, expert in this arena. I do have to be an expert. I do not have to be an expert in all areas. Yes, Maddie, you getting it. You getting it. You getting it. All right, so I'm going to count it down, and we're going to be out. Let me know if there's any topics that you want me to cover, or if there's any experts that you want me to grab a hold to that are in my arsenal that you say, Teach, I really could use some help in this area. I have comprised my list of people that I want to bring on and talk and pour into you so it can complement what I teach you in media. So make sure you let me know that. Tiffany says, I created my own lane, so I am definitely the expert. Yes, I love that. Okay, so let's count it down. 10, 9, 8, 7. Any more questions? Any more thoughts? You're welcome, Pringlum. 6, 5, 4, 3. For those of you who are new, if you go over to IamANoisemaker.com, there's a free guide for the #1 secret that will blow up your business, your book, or your brand. Go get that. That's completely free. I forgot to also say, if you need a media strategy session with me, you can get that at MediaMavericks.tv/B12. B as in boy 12. MediaMavericks.tv/B12. B as in boy, the number 12. And it's a B12 shot of TJ. And it's a 20-minute media strategy session with me. Alicia says, thank you from one of the experts. Is TV media the same as radio? Maddie is asking. No, Maddie. A TV interview is 3 to 5 minutes. So I practice my clients much harder for a TV interview than I do a radio interview or even helping them craft a keynote. It takes more time for me to craft a TV interview than it does an hour-long keynote, because you only have a compressed amount of time to get your point across, to get the results you need that's powerful enough to get that viewer back from the TV screen to your website. So absolutely not. They're two different mediums, and you have to actually prep harder for a TV interview. Could you bring on someone whose expertise is social media marketing? Yes, I am going to do that for sure. All right. So where was I? In 2. Where was I? 3. Thanks for that, D. 3. Wait. Matt, what did Maddie say? Maddie said, TJ, your screen froze as we're reading the question. Are you talking about your question? Okay, so I'm going to repeat it. So your question was, is TV different than radio? And I was saying, absolutely. A TV interview is typically only 3 to 5 minutes, Maddie, whereas a radio interview can be anywhere from, 15 minutes to an hour. The thing is, I practice way harder for a TV interview of 3 to 5 minutes than I do an hour-long keynote. And especially with my clients, I practice them way harder for a 3 to 5 minute TV interview than I help them with crafting their keynote. So abso-freaking-lutely, they are different. You have to get that TV. You got to find out a small amount of time to get that viewer from the TV screen back to your website. All right? Okay, so I guess I was at 1. 1. See you guys later. Bye.